Hello everyone, let's read Economic Survey 2016-2017. I'll be covering the whole of Economic Survey in under 10 minutes video. Perhaps I'll be uploading every day for the whole month of February, and in the end we'll finish it. Let's dive right into it then. So the Economic Survey is presented to us by the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance. In 2014, perhaps, a question was there on who creates the budget. And so just keep in mind that the Economic Survey is presented by the Department of Economic Affairs. Now next is the index, a quick overview of the various lessons. There has been a significant departure in the Economic Survey this year from the previous year. In the previous year we had two booklets or two units, like modules of Economic Survey, volume 1 and volume 2, two volumes indeed, and this year there is just one, and there has been certain changes in how it's presented, which we will see in the subsequent videos. So in the preface, this year's survey comes in the wake of a set of tumultuous international developments, that is Brexit, political changes in advanced economies, and two radical domestic policy action, that is the GST and demonetization. So this will be the crux of the Economic Survey, or rather the foundation on which the Economic Survey will be based on. Then we have cooperative and quantitative federalism, and the Economic Survey calls it India's unavoidable future. As you know that in 2016 mains, UPSC mains also, we had numerous questions from cooperative and competitive federalism. We even had an essay. So this is a very important phrase and term, and it has a very significant and deep meaning and impact for Indian economy. So the Economic Survey will tell us about it. After that, the Economic Survey has embraced big data, and this is done to shed new light on the flow of goods and people within India. So big data can be a science and tech question, and the survey also furnishes exciting new evidence on the flow of migrants within India based on detailed origin destination passenger data provided by the Ministry of Railway, and on a new methodology for analyzing the census data. Then we have a whole focus on universal basic income, the Economic Survey 2016-2017. Henceforth, I'll be just calling it as Economic Survey 2017. The Economic Survey 2017 backs for universal basic income. And if you have read Hindu of 31st January, there's an article with G. Sampath, who lead editorial by G. Sampath, and he's told of these shortcomings or the drawbacks of universal basic income. But in this examination, we have to toe the line of the government, and hence we can get a very good points and perhaps the challenges also of the universal basic income from this Economic Survey. And in this year's Economic Survey, a contribution has been made by Minister of Finance. This is one of the first time that Minister of Finance has penned something for Economic Survey. And Economic Survey has quoted John Maynard Keynes. Perhaps we can look into it. Some information here and there, his book or something of that sort for prelims. I don't think it can be of that important for mains. Then we have the page of abbreviations, which we are going to skip. And then we have the 8 interesting facts about India. The Economic Survey says that this is to enthuse the reader and get him more engaged in Economic Survey. So this kind of provides new insights on India. So we can see that the first fact that they tell us is that Indians are on the move. That is, new estimate based on railway passenger traffic data reveals annual work-related migration of about 9 million people, almost double of the 2011 census. So it is telling us that intra-country migration of people for work-related things is actually very high, 9 million. Then biases and perception. China's credit rating was upgraded from A+ to A-, in December 2010, but India has remained unchanged at BBB-. So what is this credit rating? Mrunal has very good video on this one, what credit rating actually means. And right here we have, you can check that out of course. And here the rating has been given by Standard & Poor, which is a global credit rating agency. Then next we have new evidence of weak targeting on social program. The welfare spending in India suffers from misallocation. That is, districts with the most poor are the ones that suffer with greatest shortfall of funds in social programs. So these are the two maps. These are the districts in marked in red which are the most poor, and this in this map on your right there is the districts where the allocation is very bad. So there is a one-to-one, almost one-to-one correlation. So it's saying the districts which are the most poor have the greatest shortfall also. Then political democracy, but we are missing fiscal democracy. That is, in India, 7 taxpayers pay for every 100 voters. There are 7 taxpayers for every 100 voters. As we were discussing in Yojana November issue of 2016, that the tax base of India is very less, and this fact actually exemplifies that statement, that we need more people to come forward and pay taxes so that the tax rates can actually reduce. And you can see India is all the way here in a small red bar. I don't know how many countries are in front of it. And Norway, as you can see, has the best, almost 100% correlation between taxpayers per 100 votes. So there are 100 people in Norway who vote. Out of the 100 people who vote, all of them pay taxes. But in India, it's not so. We have only 7, and the worst is Turkey. Right? You can see many other countries. Korea is ahead. Colombia is ahead. I'm looking for South Asian countries. I cannot find it. Okay, no problem. South Africa is also ahead of India. But South Africa, alright. So you see in this BRICS, South Africa is there and it's ahead of India. Chile is ahead of India. Brazil is ahead of India. So it's a very bad statistic for India. Next we have India's distinctive demographic dividend. India's share of working age to non-working age population will peak later and at a lower level than that of any other country, but it will last longer. So we will not have the working age to non-working age ratio very high, it will be lower, but it will last longer. So it will be broader, not a sharp peak. The peak of growth boost due to that demographic dividend is fast approaching, and peninsular states will peak sooner than the hinterland states. So as you can see, China's this peak is really high, and it achieved that at around somewhere around 2009-2010, or in the last decade. Whereas India is set to achieve that by about between 2030 and 2040. So all these countries have already achieved that peak, and India is going to achieve that in future. But as you can see, it's not as high as the other countries, and it is more uniform, but it's a longer curve. So we have to cash in on this demographic dividend and the peak that we are going to get in the next decade. Couple of decades. And also that for example, it said the peninsular states have already peaked, and it will be followed by the other states. So as you can see here, Kerala in this turquoise color, it has already peaked before other states, and the other states are catching up. So we need to cash in on this demographic dividend. Next, India trades more than China and a lot within itself. So what it says is that India's internal trade to GDP is comparable to that of large countries, including China, which is a country which is famed for its trade as an engine of growth. So we have to tap into this internal trade. Our internal trade is very good and comparable to the trade of foreign countries, of other large countries. So as you can see here, there is USA, Brazil, China, and then there is India, much ahead of Canada in fact. Then we have divergence within India, and those are big time. That is spatial divergence. Dispersion in income is still rising in India in the last decade. That is 2004 to 14, unlike the rest of the world and even China. That is, despite more porous borders within India than between countries internationally, the forces of convergence have been elusive. So what it is saying that in India, the average growth rate of real GDP per capita is highly dispersed among states. So the blue line is India. As you can see, some states are here and some states are here. So there is a lot of disparity among the states within India, whereas this is not seen in other developed countries. So we need to bridge these disparities, or what we call the regional disparities among various states of India. Then property tax is a potential that is unexploited. The evidence from satellite data indicates that Bangalore and Jaipur have collected only 5 to 20% of their potential property tax. So this may be, as we will see later we'll get more information about this later in the economic survey, but one of the theories is that local bodies can actually tax properties comprehensively to get more revenues and then direct for public infrastructure and improvement of the cities or the localities. So as this fact tells us that there is lot of potential in collecting property taxes. Alright, so I think that with that we are done with the first part of economic survey, and chapter 1 we will do later, and that chapter is economic outlook and policy. This will be a big chapter, perhaps I'll divide it into many more segments. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.